Hello, good evening. You welcome. This is Business Now, connecting Uganda's economy and the people to the world, supported by Absa Bank Uganda. Absa provides retail business, corporate investment, and wealth management services. That's from savings and current accounts to digital and salary loans, trade finance, and your foreign exchange. On the program this week, we travel to Abim district, where Absa is investing in a community project aimed at keeping more girls in school through improved access at WASH facilities. That's WASH. We also speak to the Psfu Vice Chairperson, Sarah Kajingo, on the sidelines of the celebrations marking 30 years of private sector's contribution to Uganda's industrialization journey. Then Jambojet is returning to Entebbe. In an exclusive interview, the Chief Executive, Karanja Ndengwa, tells us what the airline's return means for connectivity, tourism, and business between Uganda and Kenya. Directors of Uganda coffee shops in Japan tour the Africa Coffee Park and share their plans to support coffee value addition in Uganda. All that and more is coming up here on Absa Business Now. Absa Bank Uganda is expanding its investment in supporting communities in sanitation and hygiene facilities, this time in Abim district, and the latest intervention is aimed at keeping more girls in school. The facilities, delivered in partnership with World Vision, build on earlier investments in boreholes, solar-powered water systems, and girls changing facilities, addressing the water and menstrual hygiene challenges that can disrupt girls' education. At the commissioning in Abim, Absa Bank of Uganda Managing Director David Wandera and World Vision National Director Jeremiah Nyaga said better access to safe water, sanitation, and hygiene can improve health, reduce absenteeism, and help girls remain in school. The initiative is funded through proceeds from the Absa KH3 to 7 Hills Run, linking community fundraising to a wider push for girls' education and well-being. Another one of the top stories we're following now is all eyes turn to Wednesday's release of the Federal Reserve Preferred Inflation Gauge Core PCE alongside the second estimate of second quarter GDP and personal spending figures. Markets will be looking at the data that could reshape rate expectations just days before Walsh takes the stage in Wyoming. And back home, the government of Uganda has signed a host country agreement with the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime to establish one of the agency's latest offices globally, strengthening Uganda's role in the fight against transactional organized crime. The agreement was signed in Kampala in the presence of the Foreign Affairs Minister Adonia Ayebare and the regional representative from the United Nations for Eastern Africa, Ali Farouk. The Uganda office is expected to rank among UNODC's 3 largest globally, with a focus on wildlife trafficking, people smuggling, cybercrime, money laundering, and anti-corruption. This is Business Now. Kenyan low-cost carrier Jambojet is betting on growing business here in tourism and regional trade to drive its return to Uganda. The airline says the Nairobi-Entebbe route is significantly underserved with most travelers since relying on road transport despite strong economic ties between the two countries. Now, Jambojet says it plans to deepen its presence in Uganda while pushing for lower aviation taxes to make regional air travel more affordable.
Given the economics and the tourism, the other side, the trade that is coming up, the oil and gas that is coming up, so you'll find there will be a lot of movement between Kampala or Entebbe into Bulu and the other Hoima and the others. The domestic market is growing. If I take, for example, the Kenyan market, Jambojet does about 18 flights between Nairobi and the coastal destinations per day. And to the eastern, we do 10. 6 to Kisumu, 4 to Entebbe. So on a daily basis, you find we are doing more than 26. So, and that is serving the domestic market. So equally in Uganda, you find people are spending about 10, 11 hours on the road. People want to use that time to do something else. So you find that is a 50 minutes flight compared to being on the road for 10 plus hours. That's a market that you'll be able to grow. For us in Kenya, just to give you an example, we uplift about 1.5 million passengers a year. 80% of those are domestic travelers. So we heavily rely on the domestic customer. Those are the ones who need it more than the tourists. One of the things that the governments need to do is that there is what we call SATAM. And this was signed whereby governments can open up the skies. By opening up the skies is how do you make the region close to a domestic? You find in Europe, flying between Germany and the UK, the uplift taxes is about 8 euros. Here it's about $50. So before you move between Nairobi and Entebbe or Entebbe, so each way you pay $50. And that is the same amount. Anyone going to New York from Nairobi is going to pay also $50. So the big question is that our domestic uplift taxes is about $4. So you find the fares in the Kenyan domestic market are far much less, yet the distance between Nairobi and Mombasa is the same as Nairobi and Entebbe. So, but because you are called upon to pay $50 compared to $4, so the price goes up. So my big prayer is that one day the East African community will consider and make it cheaper to lower the uplift taxes, because the moment you lower that, you will grow the market in 3-4-fold. And that way, that's the only way you'll find the airlines will be able to grow faster, to make air travel more accessible, cheaper. But if we continue raising these taxes, then we are hurting the airline industry. We will continue having less people afford. So for me, that is the item number one. The second item that we need to continuously do is the airports. Don't make it international, make it close to a domestic. That way, we will be able to spur and make people travel. You'll find quite a number of people who want to do a day trip between Entebbe and Nairobi. They will easily do it. There are people who have friends, there are people who want to take a quick holiday over a weekend. Not even, if you have 3-4 days, you can easily, people who want to come to Entebbe, to Kampala, but when they see the costs, they will just make a call, and the call is sufficient. But those are the things, for me, that's the biggest item that needs to be done, because it's not about funding airlines. Airlines can be self-sufficient if they are enabled to reach. You can live here in the morning, go do your business, and come back in the evening, and you continue doing your business. What we've done is that we've made it easier for you, because if at the end of the day you would have paid, it would have cost you more in your destination, because you would have paid for a hotel.
Uganda's private sector is calling for faster regional integration and execution of industrialization policies as the East African community seeks to unlock a market of more than 400 million consumers. At the close of the third annual industrialization conference, the Private Sector Foundation Uganda Vice Chairperson Sarah Kajingo spoke to NTV. She said the region must tackle non-tariff barriers, while energy and logistics costs, skills gaps and limited access to patient capital also are on point. The conference also called for greater local processing and regional value chains, with Uganda reaffirming its ambition to accelerate GDP growth towards $500 billion economy.
Participants in this two-day conference have therefore resolved to 1. Establish a time-bound EAC mechanism for monitoring and eliminating non-tariff barriers with clear responsibilities and quarterly reporting. Number 2, we've agreed to harmonize customs procedures, tax policies, industrial standards, and mutual recognition arrangements across partner states. We've also resolved to establish a regional blended finance facility offering patient capital for industrial and cross-border value chain investments. Number 4, we've resolved to accelerate investment in electricity generation and distribution, railway, roads, industrial parks, storage, logistics, and digital infrastructure. We've resolved to operationalize 24/7 real-time regional payments, interoperable identification, company registration, and cargo tracking systems. We've agreed to expand local processing, regional sourcing, research, technical skills, and technology adoption. Number 7, to establish coordinated regional enforcement against illicit and counterfeit trade. We've also resolved to deliberately integrate MSMEs, women and youth into formal value chains. Key commitments as an outcome of this two-day conference are that Uganda has also committed to embarking to acceleration of growth of Uganda's GDP towards 10x growth and exactly USD 500 billion economy. Equity Bank's planned mobilization of over USD 6 billion in 10 years, EADB's patient financing of 8 to 13 years, and support for approximately 1,000 additional megawatts to the generation capacity. And the ESC Secretariat shall translate these resolutions into a regional policy action and implementation metrics, which will specify actions, responsible institutions, timelines, and performance indicators. The region must now move from fragmented markets to an integrated regional economy and from policy dialogue to measurable industrial results. Adopted this day in Uganda's capital, Kampala.
ABSA provides retail business, corporate investment, and wealth management services. That's from savings and current accounts to digital and salary loans, trade finance, and your foreign exchange. And finally, we take a quick flight to the Inspire Africa Coffee Park in Ntungamo, where Ugandans doing specialty coffee in Japan have been on a working tour to establish how they can support Uganda's coffee sector, notably in value addition, and how they are working with the Japan mission in Uganda to support trade and investment.
Now, our work in Kumba and in Uganda Coffee Shop in particular, by presenting these foodstuffs or these products that we're making to the Japan market and them being appreciated, it creates a demand that hasn't been there until today. It creates a demand. Of course, it is going to build. It creates a demand for the products, which will make the farmers in Uganda very happy of those specific or various products. It also creates a demand which will help promote and increase the amount of labor, because there are shortage of jobs and everything. Now imagine that we have to export a very big tonnage of probably toke. That means that all the matoke farmers in Uganda will be happy. They'll be benefiting from that. Okay, that also extends to coffee. It extends to the dried pineapples and everything. And by also engaging and leveraging our products in Japan, many of these companies that had no idea, had little knowledge about Uganda, that's how they pick interest into coming back into Uganda to invest here and actually do some of the production here for other products, some of which have not actually come to our radar. Now, I'll give you an example of a product that we engaged in and is soon producing very good results. That's vanilla. Now, my friend, a CEO of some company, interested himself in the vanilla that we are bringing because we are good friends. And he said that when he looked around, actually it was after our conversation with him, there is that liquid called vanilla essence that they make out of vanilla. It is usually used to make the vanilla ice cream, sometimes used in perfume, sometimes used for many other things, many things. Now, there was no vanilla essence that is organic being produced in Japan at the time. More so by probably using Ugandan vanilla. Now, when he realized that I am importing vanilla, he was like, now that is an opportunity for us. And now he's working around the clock to make sure that we establish a plant in Japan that uses specifically vanilla from Uganda, okay, sourced by us, of course. And then, not only that, to make that essence, they use alcohol. And the best alcohol to use, this is also very interesting, is alcohol made out of sugar cane, out of cane. And that brings us to Uganda waraji. Now, he's very much interested in making vanilla essence using two products from Uganda. One using the waraji from Uganda and using the vanilla here. Now, something like that is in the pipeline right now, and it's something that of course is going to produce many other opportunities that come of it. Okay. Now, when we are doing all this, of course, we were being appreciated by many people, and actually we are happy that the PS Govi also, I think, interested himself in our work at some point, and he wrote a letter to us asking us to work with government to promote agro products in Japan, and informing us that if we should get assistance from UDB. Of course, it's taking some time, but I hope it will materialize sometime. But yeah, putting that aside, we're not waiting for anything. We are working regardless, and we are sure that what we are doing is getting us to the right destination. And there is the other thing of how about investing here in Uganda? Now, we've invested in Japan, that's number one, and we're putting products on the market, which are some of them actually very new. For example, the coffee beer that we're making. For example, the vanilla ale that we're making using Uganda products. We are also in the background working on an idea to produce those products here in Uganda. But that's after we've also established ourselves well in Japan. So we are working in that direction, and we appreciate any kind of help or assistance that is available by all interested partners. We have an organization in Japan which we're part of. It is the African Diaspora Network Japan. Now, that is an organization that brings together talent from Africa that has been educated in Japan, most likely, that is already doing work in Japan, and we were able to secure a very big location to have an African cuisine restaurant in the expo. Now, in the African cuisine restaurant, because it was organized by ADNJ, we called it, the name was called Panaf. Now, because Panaf, of course, coming from Pan-African. And during that time, the entire restaurant, which was having multitudes of people coming in, all the coffee was being handled by us. Now, our coffee, we decided to call ourselves Uganda Coffee Shop. Okay? And so we sold our coffee there as Uganda Coffee Shop. However, the brand that was born out of Uganda Coffee Shop is the Terimba Coffee, the name picking. Why was it intentional? First of all, Terimba, the sound and the intonation and the sound itself rhymes well with the Japanese language. So it is easy for the Japanese people to pronounce. The number two, Terimba is a word that will incite someone's mind into asking, what does Terimba mean? And as they're asking, what does Terimba mean, they will be forced to find out about a country called Uganda. And whatever comes out of that, it may lead to tourism at the end of the day. We served our coffee to over 150,000 people who were able to taste our coffee and love it. And some of the very interesting stories that were really inspiring are people who walked into the restaurant and said that they do not drink coffee. But I told them, no, we understand you don't drink coffee, but can you try this? When they tried our coffee, they said, if this is coffee, then I can drink coffee. So we've had these real life stories of someone who wasn't drinking coffee, starting or being initiated into drinking coffee using our brand. we sat down because it was us and others who were in that particular restaurant and said, now the expo is ending. It's been a very successful run. Should we just end here or should we move on? So we decided to go ahead and establish the Panaf restaurant in Shinsaibashi, Osaka. Now, right now, it is the biggest African restaurant in Asia. And because we are selling very delicious coffee that is sought after, many people all over the place are asking, where do we buy this coffee? And what was born out of that was these pop-up events that are happening on a weekly. Now, we get invitations from different people every weekend that, can you please come and participate in this event because we would like to drink your coffee. We would like you to sell your coffee there. So every weekend we are having these events, pop-up events. And what happens at these events is that every interaction, they get to know about Uganda. And now that again, because everything opens something new, kind of. When we were selling coffee, we began talking to ourselves saying that how can someone come to our place and they only buy coffee and go away? So we decided to bring this Uganda fast food, or roadside snacks, if I may say. The samosas, the Rolex itself, it made a debut through us. The mandazi as well, and all those. And all those have been greatly appreciated, and they're being enjoyed and welcomed into the Japanese population. The food industry in Japan, like any other what we call advanced countries, they call themselves advanced countries, their food is highly processed food. What Uganda has is golden. Why? Because it is highly processed and it is also not organic. But then for Uganda, it is not yet processed, okay, meaning that it's natural, and then it is also organic. So the demand of such a product, when presented at the correct standard that is required in that particular country, is obviously high. And trust me, everyone that has tasted all these is saying that, why didn't we know this before? In that line, we are planning to have another farm trip early next year. A repeat, actually I think a little bit big and better. It's in the pipelines. And apparently, we are also, together with the Embassy of Uganda, we are planning a road show.
We'll also leave you with the highlights of the second Financial Sector Research Conference held under the theme Financial Sector Research is a catalyst for Uganda's tenfold economic growth agenda, where the Bank of Uganda Governor Michael Atingego said the country must expand private sector credit 16-fold to support Uganda's ambition of that target of $500 billion by 2040. Atingego also called for deeper capital markets and more long-term financing. And that's it for this edition of Business Now, connecting Uganda's economy to the world, supported by Absa Bank Uganda. Now listen to this. Absa offers a full range of retail business, corporate investment and wealth management solutions, for savings and current accounts to digital and salary loans. There's trade finance and foreign exchange support as well, helping you individuals and businesses grow and manage your money. Business Now is brought to you by Absa Bank Uganda. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time. Next up is Entebbe Tonight.